Welcome to episode 3 of Little Tokyo's Tat-Talk. My name's Remi. I'm here today with Jo Bell, who is one of our tattoo artists here at Little Tokyo. We're going to have a chat.
Good.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so first thing I wanted to talk about was Made to Suit. You are in Made to Suit for the New South Wales edition.
Yep.
So with your art, what was the process like? What did you use? How long did it take? Because it's huge.
Yeah, it's a big job. It didn't take me that long. I mean, it did, but like 2 weeks, I think I got it done.
Okay.
Which is pretty good, really.
Yeah.
Like at nights.
Yeah.
It's all liquid acrylic. I kind of purposefully chose something that I could draw relatively easily because I didn't want to give myself an impossible task.
Yeah. Yeah.
With limited time. It's not the time to test out new ideas in my mind. So I did something pretty fun and straightforward. I just did a lot of late nights over 2 weeks and not too bad.
So what went into designing it? Did you have an idea like last year when you saw everyone else's, or did you just kind of freeball it?
No, the subject matter I've drawn a few times. I did do a little sketch on my iPad, but it was more just to see if it would work.
Yeah.
Often kind of overcomplicate things, so I did complicated stuff and then threw it away and did the simple version.
Yeah.
Just because it was better to execute, it would just work better.
Is it something that you think you could tattoo if someone did want to get the bodysuit?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, once you've got the picture there, I think anything is possible pretty much. It's just getting the thing. Yeah.
Totally.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Cool. Well, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
Excited. It should be a sick night. Well, Brisbane just had theirs and it looked epic.
Yeah, I'm excited. I saw some of the artworks. There's some really, really good artworks.
Yeah. Well, even last year's was so mind-blowing. Like the scale of everything.
Yeah.
Was so cool.
Yeah, it's good to... It was really good to paint that big, actually have space. I actually bought a whole roll of the paper. I've got another...
Yeah.
I gave Flex some, but I've got another 6 metres of it at home.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do with it yet, but it's there.
Sick.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, Made to Suit's awesome. I'm really keen to see it, actually. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to ask, so before you became a tattoo artist, what other jobs did you do? Were they art related? Did you always kind of know you were going to get in this?
I had a kind of funny route into tattooing, and it's like a common joke with my partner and friends, how many jobs I've had.
Yeah. Well, you've been everywhere. Didn't you work in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, I've worked at Uluru and Nelly Beach, 6 months each when I was 19 or something like this, 18, 19. I think before, I've been tattooing 14 years non-stop.
Yeah.
And I've had, I think it was 36 jobs I counted before that.
What the hell? You're joking. Okay.
And and I'd actually started tattooing in 2000, actually 24 years ago.
Okay.
But I didn't really stick with it. I was just young and dumb as dog shit, you know what I mean? So I didn't get it,
Yeah.
That was, but that was quite a good opportunity. So kind of have regrets about not sticking with it, but also it was in my hometown.
Yeah.
And it's where I didn't want to be, and I was very conscious of not getting stuck there as well. So I think, I don't know, I think I'd be a very different person if I'd stayed there.
Yeah.
So you can't look at stuff like that, but sometimes I'm 24 years ago, it would have been nice to have stayed with it then.
When did you move to Sydney again?
When I started tattooing properly again, so 14 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'd kind of, the whole time I had people, I was in Melbourne for 6 years or so, and I had people telling me to go and do tattoos, you know. I'm like hassling me to tattoo them at home and stuff. I was like, I don't have the gear, I don't want to.
Yeah.
The main reason I didn't want to is because I'd done it in a shop enough to know that I shouldn't. And it was like that I knew I didn't know enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had people hassling me about it. So like I did a lot of different jobs, but I probably did about 10 years of screen printing.
Oh yeah, screen printing.
So I did shirts and all sorts of stuff.
Do you think that helped you, like creative wise?
No.
No.
I mean, it's helped me. Like it's like a trade, and you've got to learn all the aspects of it. So I guess that teaches you something. And I mean, just being around like color mixing and all that kind of stuff, you just have to do it. It was all by hand. It was not, I never really used printing machines. It was all like carousels, like hand printing. Which I got a job doing that when I was 17. Like cash in hand, $5 an hour.
Hell yeah.
And I quit repetitively with the same guy for years. And by the time I left, I was probably about $15 an hour. So I got about $1 an hour extra every time I quit. Yeah.
They loved you.
Yeah. Where were we going in? What was the thread?
I was just talking about jobs that you'd done before you started tattooing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was screen printing at the time. I was making like fuck all money, and I was drinking a lot comfortably, and I was very quick at my job. So I worked with some people, a Jewish couple in Melbourne. That's one of the places I worked. And they were like, you know, cool, you know, you got the job. You know, it's 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock or something else. Like, you know, how about 10 till 3? And they're like, no, it's 9 till 4. And I was like, I can get the job, I can get the work done. So, and that was essentially hangover time and pub time. And I was just, you know, cutting my own wages for a good time.
Oh yeah.
But eventually it just became I should go and start tattooing again. And I asked around. Melbourne took a pretty shitty portfolio around, and got told, you know, go to the outer suburbs and find an arsehole and work for them for a bit. Which, looking back, pretty good advice.
Yeah.
But I thought I was like, no, I don't want to do that. You know,
Dogs. Yeah.
and from my time earlier, it was all mixed up with my friends group. So I had a few good friends in New South Wales tattooing. So I kind of called a few people, and they all kind of knew me and knew that I'd been around it and done it a bit, you know. So it was kind of became obvious if I came to New South Wales, I could start pretty quickly, get kind of shuffled in again. Like I still definitely had learning to do, like kind of like the actual work end of the apprenticeship, especially, you know. But so I had a good friend I'd been living with in Newcastle years ago in art school, which I never got any certificates or anything for. You know, I just went there, you know. So I came up and worked with him in Penrith in Western Sydney.
Okay.
And that was good. I stayed there for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. But he actually had a car crash about 6 months or so after I moved up here and died. So
gnarly.
That was pretty gnarly. So I stayed there and learnt what I could until I was kind of, you know, I felt like I'd been there long enough and didn't really want to be in Western Sydney. Then I kind of moved into town and did a shuffle through a few shops in town.
And then how many years have you been here now?
It's probably about a bit over 2 years here.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So something else I wanted to ask, because you've been in the industry for quite a while now, what is like one thing that you've seen, well, a lot of things would have changed, obviously.
Yep.
But from then to now, is there anything that really sticks out to you on how the industry has changed of tattooing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, like the super disposable nature of all the gear.
Yeah.
You know, like pen machines, like this unfixable machine, essentially.
Cartridges. You still use a lot of old machines.
Yeah, I still use coils and tinker with stuff. Like I buy things, but I still
We can hear
I
them.
kind of don't need to a lot of the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
So curiosity more than need. But also just like, steel tubes and needles on the bar. It's like, the needle is disposable, but it's like I'm a bit of a greenie really, and it's like less fucking rubbish. I don't like the amount of like cartridges and that stuff. I don't like the amount of effort
huge.
manufacturing rubbish. Like it's so much goes into those things. And because it's so convenient, you use way more than you need to, I think, for every tattoo. And I think they're good for some things, like great for realism and fine stuff, especially, I think. But you can get coils or traditional rotaries to do the same thing. So I don't know.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
That the internet changed everything.
Yeah. I guess you've kind of really like lived through like the biggest change.
Yeah.
Like you've fully seen a lot.
Yeah, the internet and then the shows about it, like Miami Ink and that stuff changed it again,
Yeah.
So, people used to just come to a shop and ask for a tattoo. There'd be a million pictures or they'd bring something in, but they'd want to know what you could do with the thing they brought because you were the tat guy and they would trust you. And then it's become more of like, I'm going to find a specific picture of the tattoo that somebody else already has that I want.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fight the changes.
Yeah.
I don't want you to change it. I want it tested and tried and, I want other people to have done it first.
Yeah,
it's safer.
It's like that. Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it's not as, well, from what I see, it's not as common for people to kind of give the artist full freedom and trust him because there's so much.
Yeah.
There's so much to look at.
People come in with a lot of, like, they might have done a lot of research, like not always, like, in a useful way. So they come armed with a lot of knowledge, which, like, I understand that it's a nerve-wracking experience.
Yeah, of course.
But, at some point, I think
you got to give it a little bit
you
of
need
trust.
to just let go and see what's going to happen there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully you've actually looked at the artist and
seen what they do.
If you've looked at them and come to them, you should trust them once you get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You find yourself having silly arguments.
Yeah.
About things that are never going to happen sometimes,
So aside from tattooing, what are your hobbies?
Well, I've always done painting and drawing and stuff since I was a kid. And I've just done that the whole time outside of tattooing anyway. Otherwise, like skateboarding, I've been skateboarding forever, since the 80s. What's
the biggest stack you've ever had skateboarding? I want to know.
There's been a lot.
Yeah. Well, you're always coming in with like purple ankles and...
Yeah, I did that recently. Tore some tendons. But I had two good ones coming back from Innovision in Sydney.
Yeah.
One where I just hit on a Sunday night after the end of my week, going down the middle of the road, and I forgot on the rise there was a gap in like a channel cut through the road.
Yeah.
And I just, with my backpack on, just fully relaxed, going quite fast. I hit that and about 60 metres from home and fell and broke a rib. Lost a lot of skin and walked in bleeding. And
did you get ragdolled? Like, did you get flying?
Yeah, just like... Yeah, and because my arm was down, I broke my rib on my arm.
Darling, yeah.
So that was a good one. And then I did a similar thing. No, actually, I was really drunk coming back from a Christmas party.
Yeah.
And totally ate shit coming home to my house. I also had alcohol poisoning. I had to go to hospital the next day. I had bookings, and I had no phone, smashed my sunnies.
Yeah.
Having to message through Facebook to the shop. Be like, I'm running a bit late, and then like going hurling and then messaging, I'm running further late. And then I got in my car and my hands were doing the thing when you're really fucked.
Yeah. You're fully fucked it.
Yeah, so I just drove to the hospital and they gave me a whole bag of fluid. And then I called them from the hospital, said I'm running a bit further late. And then...
Did you go in?
Yeah, I got to work, did my tattoo.
That's amazing.
Gave Cliff his first doctor's certificate ever.
Yeah.
He's proud of it, yeah. I bent the corner. He was trying to smooth the corner out. He was like, "Well, I'm going to put this in a frame." Yeah, so all right, mate.
Amazing.
So that was a good work. Tattooing related ones.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up now because we've been yapping on for a while.
All right, good.
But thank you for being on our little talk show.
Cheers.
Yeah. Let's get back to it.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.